so today we're going to create a lot of layers, a lot of movement, a lot of texture, and we're gonna get rid of a few inches of length as well. So in order to begin this, we're gonna find the high point of the head just by laying the comb just like this. Where that middle hits is exactly where I'm gonna start that point, and then I'm gonna go downward, dividing front and back. So I'll start that right here, like so. Same thing on the other side. Very important to use as clean a sections as possible. Makes the execution that much easier. We're gonna start with length. So what I like to do is take a little piece on the back, pull it over the shoulder, and look straight into the mirror, and we're gonna decide what is that optimal length that we want. So we're gonna be going several inches below the collarbone. I'm gonna take that piece. This is where I feel this is good. So we're gonna use that right here. I'm gonna comb down. Now I generally know where I want that length to be. So now I'm gonna use the fine side of the comb this down straight as possible. Once I get to the occipital, I'm gonna dig in a little bit towards the nape. That way I reduce any extra graduation. We're not going for a super blunt look. I'm not gonna subsection at all. I'm gonna take this whole thing, cut it right across, and point cut. Split it in the middle, push that aside a little bit. We're gonna cut one side first. You wanna make sure the model's straight. Comb straight down. It's okay to have about 1 finger's depth graduation. We're gonna cut straight across. I'm actually gonna point cut slightly towards the center profile. My points will go inward on the left side. The important thing here is to make sure that we have even points. I'm gonna start cutting here, and my points should end up close to where my fingers are. So I cut inward like this. Points. Grab the next section, same thing. Make sure I leave out a good amount of hair so that I can do deeper points. This is my general length guide. So now you're gonna have a variance in length. This allows for a softer baseline. Before we move on, we're gonna take a corner of that same piece, bring it around front, and check if that's a good length. That seems great. So we're gonna continue. If it needed to be shorter, then you would just cut a little more. This here is just a little detail cutting. Now we're gonna pull over the rest of it and do the right side. Let's keep in mind here, since we're on the right side, we're gonna point inwards towards the center again. So left side was this way, right side is this way. We're gonna take a little bit of that center so we have something to follow. Leave the bottom length there, but leave yourself enough space to do the deep point cutting. Slightly in towards the center. This is key. This way you get an even amount on either side. Like so. At this point, you don't have to worry about it being absolutely perfect as long as your points are even at the very top. And then once we pull all of it down, we can take a look at the entire thing as a whole, and then you can detail the bottom of it. Like that's a little bit longer, that's fine. We're gonna take the comb down and just lightly even that out. Point cutting only though. Okay, so this is step one to get that length to how you want it, but we still want to add more texture to this. What we're gonna do now is pull up the hair one more time at 1 finger's depth. We're now gonna point cut parallel to the hair just to break it up even more. This just takes away extra weight. We're not cutting length at this point. This is strictly for texture purposes only. Try to do it to the length of the shear. If you have shorter shears, that's fine, just do a little less. So I'm going more parallel without affecting the actual bottom length, but I am taking away weight from the bottom. And we will go through this again dry as well, just so you know. All right, so then We shake it about, just drop it how it would naturally fall, and you can see it's nice and soft. That's exactly what we want. Now we're gonna blend in the sides. We're gonna have the model turn her head a little bit, and then we're gonna take a corner of the length from the back and lean this over the shoulder. This way, we don't have to lift the hair too much to graduate with the shoulder there. We're doing it over the shoulder. All right, we're just gonna comb this straight down. And let's use that same pattern we did pointing towards the center here. So in this case would be towards her back. And we're gonna just use that corner there and blend in through the front. So hold it, deep point cut in. See all that texture there? Maybe just a little extra. Lift it up one more time. Try to be mindful not to elevate too much, but if you decide to, just make sure you are the same on both sides. And there we have it, soft lines. Then we move to the right side. We're going to use that same guide, go straight across again, and point in towards the back. Then at this point, you check for balance. So just have her head straight, just a little longer on that side. We'll turn her back. And you can see it just lightly drops. So we're just gonna go a little more straight across. And again, using the point cut technique. All right, let's check again. And voila, now we have balance, folks. Now we're gonna go in and face frame. I'm actually gonna start on the right side here. And again, we gotta go to that high point, divide the front and back again. We're not gonna worry about the back at all. Now it's all front. This is probably one of the most important parts because at the end of the day, this is what the client's gonna look at in the mirror every time. We're gonna actually cut out a crescent starting from a little bit below the chin and just carve out a crescent down to the actual length. See this last piece here? That's the key. We're not gonna lose that piece. Point A, point B, carve it in. So we're gonna take it to the chin there, a little bit below, so my fingers slide down, and I'm gonna start it off carving. You see that slight C curvature? Now we go in and we're gonna slide cut. We're gonna use that as our guide. This takes a lot of control. Hold the hair with tension on the left side, rest the comb, open the blades up. We're gonna use more of the inside of the shear now, and slightly close as we go down. You're gonna go down until you get to that very end. What you don't wanna do is cut through that. You wanna end up at that point B. If you need to lightly clean that up, that's fine, just go through again. See how soft of a line it still creates? So now grab a little piece so we can match it up. Start off with that first carve. And then all right. So now layering. We're gonna go to that same spot here. The starting point is very important. We're gonna do center profile about a 1/2 inch. This will be our guide. We grab the whole entire thing. So this bottom piece here, this is our length. We're not gonna cut any of that. We wanna make sure where our shortest piece is gonna hit. So let's pull this up. 90-degree, slice it here. See, it's a soft line. It's just past occipital and it blends all the way down. There's our layer. carving that out, concave style. And then lightly point cut those ends. I call that the double lift. And again, that's perfect. All this hair in the front, we're gonna over direct it all to the ear, and your guide will be there. Done. Then you repeat the same on the other side. So here, over direct back. Check that guide. Even though you're repeating it on the other side, I want to make sure, since I'm right-handed, I'm cutting short to long, so I'm gonna position my body always on the opposite side, so I'm cutting short to long. I don't want to be this side and then try to cut long to short. It's just not going to work. You won't get the same flow. So if you're left-handed, you'd be the opposite side. So now that we have the general shape in here, we're going to texturize, and that's gonna be dry. So I'm grabbing my 20% texture shear, and we're gonna start around the face here. So let's go ahead and divide front and back again, because again, clean sectioning, key. Around the face first, diagonal forward section here to the low recession. And then I'm actually gonna elevate this hair, over direct it forward about 45 off the face. Now, I flip the hair over my fingers here. So what I'm gonna do here is scoop out parallel pieces of hair so that I can create some softness on the ends here without destroying the shape we just put it in. I'm gonna go through here progressively all the way across, and then I'm gonna slowly slide my fingers until I run out of hair. And I'm watching the ends separate as I do this, and that gauges how much I need to keep doing. If you need to do it once, twice, 3 times, it's totally fine. You just want to watch the result as it happens. So now I'm going to grab more of the hair. There we go, start there and continue. So now we see some separation happening here. That's what you want to do, is keep looking. Do we need a little more? I think so. Now you can go as far as about halfway through, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. This is more dramatic texture, so we wanna show that off. You see that? Now we have way more separation. This is good. Now we go to the other side and repeat the same way. Diagonal forward section here to the low recession, directing forward, flipping the hair, elevating 45. And again, this time I'm slicing out this way. You want to progressively work out, so my left hand, I'm sliding out until I run out of hair. And you want to constantly watch the ends separate. Are they separating enough for you? If not, you got to keep going. And then as you drop the hair, you can see the results. You're going to notice also the hair is going to hold the shape that you want, because all those short pieces are supporting the rest of the length. You've got sexy movement and support. See, you don't want to be afraid. You want to go in there and keep going. I think a lot of the time you're told don't overdo it. But sometimes you got to go there. So now we're going to grab a little extra. Now we go into the more bottom parts of the length. See, this is all what surrounds the face. This is one of the most important parts. We definitely don't want to underdo it. It's finding that right balance that's key. And I like tapping the hair, play with it a little bit, see how it's reacting, and then one more, and we're good to go. Beautiful. Now we have around the face done well. It's much leaner and it will follow exactly what you want it to do styling wise if you blow dry it or if you add wave. So now we go into the interior. Let's go to that basic front and back at the high point. Since we added quite a bit of layers, you see how thick that is? We're gonna break up some of the ends from underneath and from behind. So number one is towards the ends of the hair to create that softness. Number two is coming from behind for the actual weight and support. So we're actually bi-directionally texturizing here, one at a time. So let's start with the ends first. We're gonna go with the same elevation and distribution. We're gonna leave out about a third of the hair and then progressively move backwards, out towards the back. And scoop out and go all the way to the ends and then watch that hair separate because you wanna make sure you're getting enough done. See? I would say about 3 times would be good for her. See, I'm progressively moving till I run out of hair, and that's what you want. Now we'll take that same section. I'm gonna go the opposite direction, and we're gonna go this way, over directing to support some more body and volume throughout the crown. So first we went back, now we're going forward, just like this, and again, progressively move out until we run out of hair. And since you're using texture shears, you're pretty much safe in not ruining the end of your shape there. We're just taking out weight. Look at all that. All right, one more. And then when you drop it, you'll see everything still blends. And then when we turn it around, look at that support, look at the softness. That's what you want. No matter how you move it and what direction it goes, everything is blending. When you're following a shape to cut layers, let's not grab the same amounts. Once you've already textured it, you don't need to do it again. The first is the ends. Progressively moving till we run out of hair. Now, the opposite way. See, we're scooping out as we go. Very nice. And then we're gonna do one more on the right side. Try to make a habit of doing multiple things on one section. Do what you need to do for the first part, use that same section, and then go the other way. So we're double, even triple lifting the same section. This way, it's already done, and then you can move on and not have to come back to it. Now we're gonna go the opposite direction. This time forward. All right. One more time. Really get in there. All right. And then you shake it all about, and you can actually see how light and airy it is. But the actual shape you cut in originally when it was wet is still in there, which creates all over beauty. Now, there's one last thing, and that is the length. We're not altering the actual length, but we still want to take out weight. Look how thick that still is. And that basic front back, let's start there. Twirl it up. We are elevating at this point. This is about 2/3 of the way out. We're now gonna slice out progressively. So this is what texture shear. And grab your regular shear, and one more time up, and there's not much here, but we're gonna go ahead and slice out a little bit. This adds a lot of separation. Now we're gonna go half of the back. We're gonna do the exact same thing. Comb through it, lift it up, elevate, 2/3 the way out, scoop out that weight, all the way to the ends, progressively moving outwards until none is left. But since this is the back of the head, we know there's more hair there, so we may need to do this a couple times. Flip it back over, slice it out, follow until you run out of hair. Now switch to regular shear. This adds that extra separation. The key to this is holding the shear parallel with the hair. We don't want to go this way, perpendicular, and slice out way too much. Now you're just gonna ruin that length you just did. So make sure more parallel, slice it out. And then you can do this with confidence. You see that separation happening? That's what you want. Drop it. See how thick that is? It's not even see-through at all. And then this is very broken up. Beautiful. Half of the back again. Texture shear first, flip over, and make sure you leave a good amount, at least a third. Because if you only do the very, very ends, you're not gonna really make that dramatic effect. Slice that out. Parallel here, slice that out. Slide out a little bit, do a little more. Now, we just have that little bit in the front again. Not much hair, but it still needs to be done nonetheless. Now we have a lot more broken up ends. This will help show off the color, the cut, the whole entire look. Voila.
We're going to do like a big transformation with this beautiful girl today. She has a virgin hair, thanks God. I'm gonna bleach this hair today. I need to sectioning. This is always easy to do clean and fast work. This is 4 different sections. 1. 2, 3, and 4. So I always prefer to do my bleach from the back, especially when it's long process. It's much more safe because I can wash them first. I never touch roots from the beginning because it's the most warm part of hair because of head. It's super fast to bleach. So I'm using 20 Wolff with Light Master. Mixing. And I will use the foil. Inside the foil we have much more warm than just open air, so that's why I will using it. Light Master is ready. Okay, let's start. This. I'm using 20 volume. Some people use more because of dark hair. I believe that 20 Wolff it's the best to get nice base for platinum blonde. It's slower but much cleaner. Now I will use foil and I will apply Light Master for all hair. And taking foil. I need to apply a lot of product. Should be enough. I'm gonna continue all hair and I show you later the result. So you can see the transformation, but this is not even ends. We need to add some beautiful pieces on this section, only for ends, some pieces from around the face. I'll start from here. You have to look at the movement of the hair. You have to feel like where exactly you want to see the color. So I want some color around the face, some color inside, not too much. I'm gonna take this piece. Foil. Looks like lines, very soft lines in random directions and random levels. Violet. And some pink inside. When you're using the brush like this, it's very thin and it's very easy to get such a soft lines. You don't have to even melt it because it's very soft. I need to see what's happening here. I go to another side. I'm taking a piece around the face. Some violet again. And pink inside. The most important thing is you should be sure that everything is super soft between blonde and color, what we're doing now. This is the hardest thing, but it still is not hard. I would have to look, so it's pretty good. Okay, another level of hair, just need to secure it first. Another way. I just want to keep it clean because I can't move them, so that's why I'm doing this. I want to take some pieces inside. So next one is gonna be here. It's like a continue of the first strand around the face, and it will be together. And next one is gonna be here, and next one is gonna be inside. Take another side. Brush it first. Pink and violet always good match together. And don't be scared if some color melting together, the pink and violet. It's like third color is coming. It's like this. It's sure. And we're gonna continue for all rest of the hair. Here, some inside, maybe a couple of strands on the back, and this is everything what we have to do.
All right, so what we're doing here is we're adding some wave, but some very particular wave. This wave is meant to be very separated, show off a lot of the texture in the haircut and the color as well. I prefer to execute this with a Marcel iron, and I'll tell you why. You have to use a certain amount of control as you're going through the hair, so I'll start with this one. You can see some of these have been done. I started from the face, I go backwards, and then I alternate. So I like to comb through, make sure it's nice and smooth, and then I take a little bit of the high Amplify. This happens to be one of my favorite hairsprays of all time. So I'm gonna spray a little bit on the front and the back, comb it one more time, then I'm gonna take it here. I start at the root, and I wanna get one full rotation in there. And I'm using a decent amount of tension, elevating outwards. So once I feel like it's getting hot, it's setting in, I'm going to unwind it here. And now I'm going to also add tension and pull towards the side that it's swirling. For this one, it's to the right, leaving out the very end, twirling one more time, making sure to keep that tension. This will change the type of curl it is. It won't be very barrel curly. Then I start to lessen the amount of tension so that I can slide out to the very ends, almost like a flat iron. Now, when I drop that, it should look something like this. Sort of a cylinder that's been stretched where the ends, they're not perfectly straight, but they just have a little kick. So I'll do it one more time. And again, we're doing this in the opposite direction now because we're alternating. Comb it out, spray. This particularly works well with fine hair. You know, the curls don't stay as well. That's why I use the hairspray on each section, and it really helps hold it in. So this time we're gonna curl inwards, close to the root, one full rotation. Pause, set it in. Tension, wait for that to heat up. Then again, we're going to release the tension a little bit, slide it out, and this time we're gonna pull towards the left side while I'm rotating one more time. Pull downwards, lessen the tension, and pull it straight. And then you get that. Voila. Keep doing that all the way around the head and then let it cool off. You can also spray with some of the texture builder at the end, which I love, and then break it all up and you've got amazing, sexy rock and roll waves.